So we are back with a little video for today. I just wanted to cover a new mod, which is kind of a huge addition for me and maybe for a lot of people as well. It is the pin dropper mod. So it essentially comes as part of nolew's multimode, which is the thing I've previously shown on my channel, which features a max star setting, never bail, and never bail seems to be kind of misunderstood by people. They assume it's just like a way of cheating the game, but it does allow a lot of interesting kind of tricks and things which wouldn't normally be possible, stuff like this. So it has a lot of value, especially if you want to do a lot of tech tricks. But anyway, there's also an unlock all function, but the pin dropper is not actually on this screen. Press N to get rid of this. Hold RB and press Y. And there you go. You got a pin dropper. Notice when you move around, your guy moves around as well. I think this is something that's going to be fixed at some point in the future. It's still being worked on to a degree, but it is out now for people to use. And you basically move around with the left stick. Hold RB and you go a bit quicker. Use the triggers to go up and down. And as you can see, you can get around much quicker. Note that this is actually the top speed that you can move. So say if you wanted to get to the very bottom of the map, my recommendation would be to go to the menu. Say if you want to go to the seawall, and then from there go to where you want to. But yeah, it basically gives you access to a lot of rooftops extremely easily, a lot of hard to access places, things you may not know about. It's also, I guess you're not supposed to use it, but it's a good way of finding some of the more hidden boxes which you probably never know about. And yeah, you get to see the whole map from a completely different perspective. It's actually a pretty good way of finding spots which maybe you missed, especially in the city, like little alleys and other kind of unnoticed parts. Stuff like this. You find some gaps. There's a lot to it, and I kind of need to play around with it more. So say for example, you wanted to get on here. I'm not sure if there'd be a way normally to get up to this point. Press A to put a marker down. Your guy will spawn in. And there you go. As another example, this is the DH City mod map. It's huge. And really, if you want to get around it, this is the best way to do it because you don't have spawn points where you can move around. This is one map I will be covering in my next kind of mod map compilation. I've got a bunch of clips here. I'm waiting for a few more interesting maps to come out, and then I'll gather it all together and send it out. But as you can see, there are a lot of spots and things around this map, and having this pin dropper makes it so much easier. Also, if you play multiplayer, people won't notice you doing this. They'll just see your character walking around kind of randomly. But yeah, if you want to find people on multiplayer, this is also extremely useful because you can just immediately go to wherever they are on the map, see what they're doing, and move on to the next person or spawn there or whatever you want to do. So it's actually pretty good in that sense as well. While I'm here, I should also introduce a new mod. I know Milky showed off, I think it was by somebody called Guru, but it's not released yet. It's basically a stats menu. Somebody called Jumbles has also released a similar thing. You press H to bring it up. Changes a bunch of different things. Drag is, if you hold down A, you essentially keep pedaling faster and faster, which allows you to get a lot more speed. I haven't actually played around with this setting too much. As you can tell, some interesting stuff happens. So it's not really something I'd particularly use. It's a bit too fast for me. I need to play around with it more to get it to a more respectable level, I think. But the important one is actually gravity. I know people say the game's quite floaty, so if you toggle gravity and maybe put it up, I would suggest just putting it up 1 to 13.3, and that alone seems to make a bit of a difference when it comes to the weight. Any more than that and you can't even really do like flat whips very well. It's subtle, but you do notice a bit of a difference. Things are a bit heavier. And it feels just about right, I think. So I may continue to use this, or maybe if that other mod comes out, whichever is most appropriate, I guess. But we do have the ability to kind of play around with the gravity now. Because, yeah, one complaint about the game was it's too floaty. I would say it makes 360s a little bit. Okay, you can get them around. Sometimes, at least. Other settings here, mass is set to 800. I haven't touched that. It's apparently to do with the weight of the bike. I'm not sure if changing that would make a huge difference. Let's try something kind of noticeable. I guess that makes it lighter? Maybe. Actually, yeah. Slight, but the bike does feel a little bit lighter. If we go the opposite way. So it's at like 900 now. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot weightier. So in a sense, you could kind of recreate more heavier bike setups and things like that. Have your gravity set to a certain amount that suits your style, and then also allow a bit more weight to come into it, which is kind of interesting. Actually, upping this a tiny bit may help getting more realistic looking edits and things like that as well. Because I do find sometimes tricks can look a bit crazy, like you're doing like huge airs out of grinds and stuff like that when you want it to be a bit more kind of low-key. Something to bear in mind. Oh, and for all the mods, I will be linking them in the description, so go check them out. Another important thing I want to cover is talking about the Volution server. I noticed a lot of people have been saying that they don't know where to go or where to look. When you first join the server, you'll have a rules section under server related. Basically, react with a thumbs up to this member role section here, and it will let you into everything else. If you want streets mods, go to streets mods, look under maps. Actually, you want to go to the mod.io if you just want to look at the maps, but you hear people talking about map related things here. Script mods is where you go if you want to figure out how to install mods. It's actually very simple, but from the first post, it tells you how to use Melon Loader. From there, there's the Quick Porter, which is the teleport mod. Nolew's multimode, which I've just introduced. And at the minute, that's everything that's there. You can find other stuff in other places. The gravity or stat setting mod that I introduced is on mod.io, so it is kind of all over the place a little bit. And also under modders, there's scripting where people are talking about various things that are going on with the game, and you'll notice this is also kind of an announcement. People have begun playing around with textures. As you can see, this says Vans. Vans isn't something that's in the game originally. People playing around with hair color. Somebody had a picture of a seat as well. Yeah, as you can see, this what was her name? Nina? Definitely wasn't wearing these colors. Also bike textures as well, so this is something we can expect going forward. It's still in the early stages, people are trying to figure everything out. But do be aware that we are getting to the point where we'll probably see some clothing mods for each character as well. One last thing, you may notice each time you log on the game that your first bike tends to end up becoming this generic black setup. I don't know if it's to do with mods or if it's just the game not being very good at saving things. What you want to do is make sure you are not connected to the network, so be in this state, offline, not connected to anything. Go to each bike, so go to the third one first. And you notice this save icon loading here. Do the same again with the second bike. And do the same again with the first bike. And from what I heard, from here go to system, quit, and it should save at least your second and third bike. For me, the first bike has been reset to this kind of black, I don't know, default setup. But 2 and 3 have been kept okay for a while now. I just make sure that I always quit the game on 1. This is something that Mash should fix at some point. But for now, if you're kind of sick of constantly remaking your bike, my recommendation is to go through those steps. Exit on this first one, and hopefully 2 and 3 should be kept okay. So there we go. A very simple video this time around. I just wanted to cover some mods and various goings on that are happening at the minute, and I noticed nobody else has talked about them yet, or nobody's done a video on the pin dropper. So yeah, for people that aren't aware, that is now a thing that you can just go and get. So go to the Volution Discord server and you will get everything you need. And we're just kind of waiting for Mash to release some updates at this point. He's working on the physics. Actually, that's one thing I could maybe show you from the Discord server. So yeah, Mash has been teasing a few different things. If you go in the experimental build, you'll get this map and some of these features that you see here, which is basically like the no bail mod, allowing you to do kind of grabs and different tricks in the middle of grinds and things like that. You also have the ability to do X-ups, which is still a test, and kind of needs a bit of work, I think, because you can't really hold down RB to keep it in the X-up position. It makes it a bit awkward to do different tricks, but at least it's in there and it's kind of being worked on. He's also showed off X-ups being tweaked, which is kind of interesting as well. We don't actually know the timeline for when these are getting implemented into the game properly, but yeah, if you play the experimental build, you will be able to test this stuff out. Other additions include kind of changes to the animations for a few tricks. He said he wasn't happy with a few of them, so kind of Euros, table type things are getting improved, which you can maybe see here, so that's a good thing to see. Here's another shot. I think he's still working on the hands, because yeah, as you can see, they're all kind of bent around and crazy. But he's definitely working on improving things that are already there and also adding new tricks. So it is going to come along in the future as far as I can tell. The other big thing about this physics update is the ability to kind of combine tricks. So like bar spins into T-bogs flow a lot better. If you play on the experimental build, you will notice all the different tricks flow together a lot better, no matter what the tricks are. So that is one cool thing, which I'm kind of looking forward to seeing. So all in all, kind of a pretty cool time. Mash is kind of at work on Physics 2.0, as he calls it, which is basically him redoing a lot of the trick stuff, animations, having it flow together a lot better. He's also saying things about making it kind of more modular, so you can assign tricks to specific slots, which allows you to remove some of the things which a lot of people don't like. So like one-handers, one-footers, seat grabs, things that people don't typically use, you'll be able to swap them out for things that you do use. And probably just reconfigure everything to a setting that suits you, which is kind of a huge thing. We've got mods, like stat mods, the pin dropper. People are working on textures now, so we can expect to see that coming up in the future. Also mod maps, there's a lot of mod maps at the minute. All around, pretty happy days, I think. In terms of what I'm doing next with the channel, I'll be posting this on Friday. Saturday I will do a spot session video somewhere in this map. I kind of want to cover as many areas as possible because I know people do get bored of the standard map, so showing off areas, giving people ideas is something I really want to focus on a lot. For quite a while, I think. I will also do a mod map compilation where I basically take some of my favourite mod maps, do a bunch of cool lines on it, show it off, introduce it to people, give links so they can go download it and play it for themselves. And I think that's mostly everything I wanted to cover today. I'll be doing another video tomorrow, so yeah, I don't want to make this one too long. All around, good times. So anyway, back tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.